You're 16 when the hallway outside the principal's office falls silent. Your parents stand on opposite sides of the room like strangers waiting for a verdict. The divorce hearing earlier that morning has turned into another argument, louder this time, sharper. Papers slide across the desk, voices rise. Then the principal says your name. The room stops. Your father looks at you the way he always does when something has gone wrong, tight jaw, disappointed eyes. Your mother avoids looking at anyone. The adults keep talking, but their words blur together. Lawyers, custody, school transfers. Someone says you'll have to move. You feel something shift inside you. A realization you can't ignore. No one here is in control. Not your parents, not the school, not the adults who pretend they have answers. You walk out of the office before anyone finishes speaking. That night, you pack a small bag, a few shirts, a jacket, $30 from a drawer in the kitchen. When you close the door behind you, the house doesn't feel like home anymore. It feels like a place you escaped. You're still a teenager, but by the time the sun rises, you're already living under a new rule. No one is coming to rescue you. If you want to survive, you'll have to become someone else. The first check you write isn't complicated. A small gas station outside New York. The clerk barely looks at you. He glances at the printed numbers, tears the receipt, hands you change. It works. You step outside holding $40 you didn't have 10 minutes ago. Your heart is beating so hard you feel it in your throat. You wait for someone to run out after you. No one does. The realization comes slowly. Banks trust pieces of paper, and pieces of paper are easy to copy. At first, the fraud is simple. You open accounts under fake names, you deposit bad checks, withdraw cash before anyone notices. Small towns are easiest, new clerks, quiet banks. You watch how they behave, how they stamp forms, how they talk to customers. The system runs on routine. Routine is predictable. Predictable systems can be manipulated. But the real breakthrough happens inside a Pan-American World Airways terminal. You're standing near the ticket counter watching pilots move through the airport. Their uniforms are perfect, crisp caps, dark jackets, authority without question. Passengers move aside automatically when they pass. No one checks them. No one questions them. You stare at that uniform longer than you should, because you suddenly understand something powerful. Authority isn't always earned. Sometimes it's just worn. 2 weeks later, you walk into a tailor shop. You slide a photograph across the counter. "I need this uniform repaired," you say. The tailor studies the image, airline logos, buttons, epaulets. "You're a pilot?" he asks. You nod once. The lie comes out effortlessly now. He takes measurements. A week later, you walk out wearing the uniform. When you look at your reflection in a store window, you barely recognize the person staring back. The uniform changes everything. People hold doors open for you. Flight attendants smile when you pass. Airline staff wave you through security checkpoints without asking questions. Inside the cockpit jump seat, you feel something dangerous spreading through your chest. Confidence. You're 19 years old, and you're flying across the country for free. The first time you cash a check while wearing the uniform, the bank manager practically escorts you to the counter. "Pan Am pilot," he says approvingly. Respect fills the room. You withdraw several $1,000s. No one questions a pilot's paycheck. You walk out of the bank holding more money than your parents ever trusted you with. The uniform isn't just clothing. It's a key, and you've discovered the door it unlocks. For the next year, you live inside airports.
New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami. Each city becomes a temporary stage where you play the same role: confident, professional, untouchable. You learn airline schedules, pilot jargon, how to sit inside a cockpit without asking questions. Real pilots assume you're from another route. Flight attendants assume you've been flying longer than they have. Everyone assumes someone else verified you. The system protects you because the system trusts itself. Meanwhile, the checks keep moving. You deposit fraudulent payroll checks across multiple states, withdraw cash before verification catches up. Thousands of dollars become tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. At night, you lie awake inside expensive hotels, wondering how long it will last. Because part of you understands the truth. Every successful lie increases the risk, but stopping feels impossible now. You're too deep inside the system, and the system still believes you belong there. The first sign of trouble appears in Chicago. You walk into a bank wearing the uniform, expecting the usual routine, but the teller hesitates. She studies the check longer than normal. Her eyes move from the signature to your face. "Just a moment," she says. Your stomach tightens. She stands and walks toward the manager's office. You don't wait. You leave the bank before she returns. Outside, cold wind hits your face as adrenaline floods your body. Something has changed. The system is starting to notice. Within weeks, the pattern becomes obvious. Banks are sharing information. Someone is investigating. You don't know the name yet, but an agent inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation has begun connecting the dots. Fake payroll checks, airline pilot identity, multiple states. Your confidence begins to crack. But instead of stopping, you escalate, because escalation feels safer than retreat. You abandon the pilot role temporarily. New city, new identity. You study legal textbooks inside a public library for 2 weeks, bar exam preparation guides, case law summaries, terminology. You're not trying to become a lawyer, you're learning how lawyers talk. Soon, you're working inside a Louisiana Attorney General's office under a fake name. For a brief time, no one questions you. Then the questions start again. Credentials, background, experience. The pattern repeats. You leave before the system closes in. Next, you become a doctor. Georgia, small hospital. You claim to be supervising medical staff temporarily. For several weeks, the hospital administrators accept the story. You spend your days avoiding responsibility, signing forms, walking hallways, letting nurses assume you're experienced. But one night, an emergency patient arrives. The staff turns to you. They expect decisions, real ones. Lives are involved now. You feel the weight of the lie crashing down. Your hands shake. You pass responsibility to another doctor and leave the hospital that night. That role ends immediately. Some systems can be manipulated. Medicine isn't one of them. You cross it off the list. Meanwhile, the investigation grows stronger. You don't know it yet, but an FBI agent named Joseph Shea has become obsessed with finding you. He studies your patterns, airports, banks, cities you revisit. He builds a psychological profile of someone he's never met. Young, confident, adaptive, dangerously intelligent. You become a ghost he's determined to catch. The chase tightens. Your photo circulates quietly through banking networks. Managers start asking questions earlier. Checks take longer to clear. Airlines begin verifying pilot credentials more carefully. The invisible safety net you relied on begins to tear. Every airport feels dangerous now. Every bank visit could be the last. But you've built a life on movement. Stopping means exposure, so you keep running. Europe becomes the next stage. France, Spain, Switzerland. The fraud continues, but the pressure feels heavier now. Foreign systems, different languages, less predictable institutions. You carry stacks of counterfeit checks and passports under multiple identities, each one a fragile mask, each one capable of collapsing at any moment. Sleep becomes difficult. You dream about bank managers closing doors, FBI agents waiting in hotel lobbies, uniformed police stepping onto airplanes. Every knock on a door feels like the end. It finally happens inside a quiet bank in France. You're filling out a withdrawal slip when two men approach from behind.
They're calm. Too calm. One of them says your name, not the fake one, your real name. You freeze. They escort you outside without drawing attention. No shouting, no handcuffs yet, just certainty. The chase is over. French prison is nothing like the hotels you've been living in. Cold walls, metal doors, isolation. The system that once treated you with respect now treats you like a problem to be contained. Days pass slowly. Your mind replays every decision that led here, every lie, every escape, every moment you thought you were smarter than the system. Eventually, American authorities request extradition. You return to the United States under federal custody. The trial feels inevitable, the verdict even more so. Years of fraud, hundreds of thousands of dollars, multiple identities. The sentence comes down heavily. Prison again. But this time, something unexpected happens. Inside the prison library, you begin studying the same systems you once manipulated. Check verification processes, bank fraud detection, document authentication. The more you read, the more obvious something becomes. You understand fraud better than almost anyone in the country because you built a career around exploiting its weaknesses. One afternoon, federal agents visit the prison. Among them is Joseph Shea. He studies you across a metal table. You caused a lot of problems, he says. You nod. But you also understand those problems. He slides a stack of documents toward you. Fraud cases, check scams, security failures. Explain how some. Help us fix them. Your role changes slowly. At first, you simply explain how scams work, where banks fail, how criminals exploit routine. Then the consultations expand. You design new security procedures, advise on check printing safeguards, explain psychological manipulation techniques used by fraudsters. Banks begin adopting your recommendations. The irony isn't lost on you. You spent years breaking the system. Now the system wants your help defending it. Freedom eventually comes with conditions: supervised release, consulting work, speaking engagements. Your past follows you everywhere, but so does your expertise. Banks invite you to train their staff. Law enforcement agencies ask for insight into financial crime. You walk into boardrooms where executives listen carefully to every word you say. They know what you're capable of because you proved it. Years pass. The adrenaline life fades into memory, but the psychological scars remain. You understand systems now in a way most people never will. Trust structures, authority signals, human assumptions. You know exactly how easily they can collapse. Sometimes, during late flights, you watch airline pilots walking through terminals. Uniforms still command respect. Passengers still move aside. The system still trusts appearances. You feel the old instincts stirring quietly inside you, the same instincts that once built an empire of lies. But the stakes are different now, because you also know how fragile everything really is, and how quickly one decision can change the entire course of a life. The
The system still runs on trust. And somewhere out there, another teenager is probably discovering the same truth you discovered all those years ago. The difference is what they choose to do with it.